This mountain has no river, no spring a family could ever count on. And yet, on the right grey morning, its slopes run wet water combed, quite literally, out of the passing cloud. This is Mount Boutmezguida, in the far southwest of Morocco, where the anti-Atlas ranges tumble down toward the Atlantic. It is dry country, the kind of dry that slowly empties villages. For generations, the women of the Aït Baamrane, the amazing Berber communities scattered across these slopes, began the day the same way. Before light, with an empty jerrycan and a long walk, 3 hours, sometimes more, to a well that was itself going low and brackish. Then 3 hours back uphill, with the whole day's water strapped to their backs. It is a tax paid in time, and embodies girls kept home from school to carry water, wells pumped faster than the rain could ever hope to refill them. And the obvious fixes don't hold here. There's no river to dam, no dependable rain to catch this coast, can pass a whole year on a handful of storms. Truck the water in, and you're forever dependent. Drill deeper, and you only chase a falling water table further down. But there is one thing this mountain has in abundance, and it drifts in off the ocean almost for free. Fog. For a good part of the year, the Atlantic throws thick marine fog against these heights, cloud you can walk straight through, that soaks your coat and beads on your eyelashes, and yet almost never falls as rain. Enter Jamila Bargach, a Moroccan anthropologist who came to these villages to listen and kept hearing the same three things: the water, the walk, the women. With the community, she helped build a local collective, Dar Si Hmad, around a deceptively simple question. If the fog is right there, why not harvest it? The physics is old and almost absurdly simple. String a fine mesh net across the path of the fog. As the wind drives the cloud through, microscopic droplets snag on the threads, merge, grow heavy, and run down into a trough. No pump, no power, just geometry and gravity. But simple is not the same as easy. The first nets went up, and the mountain fought back. Boutmezguida's wind doesn't drift its slams, in gusts that shredded the early collectors like sails in a gale. The answer came from a German engineer, Peter Trautwein, and his water foundation, who designed a collector built for exactly this punishment, the cloud fisher. A three-dimensional mesh on a frame that flexes instead of tearing, rigged to survive winds that would flatten an ordinary net. Up on the ridge, roughly 1,200 meters above the sea, they strung the largest working fog harvesting array on the planet, rows of mesh, standing against the sky like sails with nowhere to go, doing nothing but waiting for the cloud. And it works. On a good, fog-thick day, these nets can comb something on the order of 37,000 liters of clean water out of the air, then let gravity carry it down the mountain through kilometers of pipe to reservoirs, and from there to the taps of more than a dozen villages. It isn't fog alone. Collective pairs the nets with solar panels and a pumped well, so the taps keep flowing even when the sky burns clear the fog as the harvest, the rest as insurance. For the households on the line, the whole thing is measured in hours. The 3-hour march is simply gone. A tap now stands where a jerrycan used to. Bargach is careful about what that really means. When the water arrives at the house, the women who once fetched it get their mornings back for school, for work, for anything at all. Fetching water was never only about water, and it is not a miracle Dar Si Hmad don't sell it as one. Fog harvesting only works in very specific places. High ground, steady wind, dependable marine cloud. You cannot net a desert that has no fog to give. But where those conditions line up, and they line up along coasts and mountains in Chile, Peru, Eritrea, South Africa, the Canary Islands, this is water with almost no running cost, no fuel, no grid, pulled from a resource that literally blows in off the sea. That's the quiet, radical idea on Boutmezguida, not a mega project flown in and left to rust, but a local collective run largely by the community, teaching the technique in its own schools, turning a drought-line village into somewhere people can actually stay. A generation of girls here now grows up with water in the wall and their mornings in their own hands. The cloud that used to just pass over the mountain now stops for a moment and pays rent. If you want the full breakdown how the cloud fisher is actually built, what a single liter of fog really costs, and where on earth this could work next, it's all in the link below, because the most hopeful futures rarely arrive as a thunderclap. Sometimes they just drift in quietly as fog.